Everyone. I'm coming to you with this month's video, and here we are ready to transition into 2026. It's been quite a year, hasn't it? 2025. We tend to say that at the end of the year, but it really has. We've had a lot going on and a lot of shifts and changes going on in our world. And I know a lot of people are just like, when does it get better? Well, I want to share with you a little bit that 2026 is going to have some highlights in it, and it is going to bring some beautiful things, but it is going to be very important also that we do not just, what do I want to say? Sorry, I got to adjust this a little bit, that we do not just fall into um, carelessness when we do this. We don't want to just fall into um, reckless behavior. When people get like a lottery win or good fortune or things like that, it's like all of a sudden they just spend recklessly and they don't take care of their needs sometimes. But I'm bringing this up a little bit because we are getting ready to head into this new year, and a big part of the energy currents for the upcoming year, as well as the month of January in particular, has a lot to do with abundance. And for those that don't know, I am an energy mentor. I'm also known as a coding interpreter, which is really reading the energetic patterns. I have an ability to understand what the patterns are that are present, how they're interacting with each other, and to bring that together in a way to help people and help people hopefully live more compassionately. Every year I put out this nice book here called The Code Journey. And I know I've got a little bit of glare coming in here. You can pick that up always if you want to on my website. But this is a day-by-day guidebook of what's happening in the year. The year influences, the daily influences, monthly influences, angel influences, lunar influences, portals in each day. So it's got a lot of great information in it to kind of guide you with where the currents are so that you can be making wise and compassionate choices along the way. So doing some of this business stuff, getting it out of the way right off the bat here. And by the way, don't forget to share the video if you're liking what the content in here. Definitely share it out. I'm not a huge influencer. I'm not being paid for things. I just do this to, hopefully benefit some people out there. So if it works for you, share it. And we'll go from there. But this month we're talking about abundance and how to create abundance. And I think this is a big thing because there's always a lot of components. A lot of times people think automatically, oh, abundance is all about money. And actually, when we look at it from an energetic perspective, it's more about self-sufficiency. That's not an isolation thing, but it is more about being able to have command over our life, to feel comfortable with where we're at in life without allowing other people to have major control over it. And granted, we all end up in certain circumstances or hit a certain point in life where we're not going to have total control over things, but we can still hold the self-sufficiency as much as possible. And abundance really nourishes that in us because it reminds us that we have enough, we are enough, we're doing enough, and that no matter what we have a little something to give. And sometimes that's just our presence. And I shouldn't say just, because our presence sometimes can be huge, absolutely huge for people. Now, this month, when we look at this concept of abundance, one of the things we want to remember is that spirit is always stronger than our challenges. So when we're sitting in this energy, we're really sitting in this aspect that connects to being peaceful and being quiet. And sometimes that's stillness, and sometimes that's just being in peaceful and quiet settings. But the reason we come into that calmness, and what part of what allows us to get through the challenges, is to come into that peacefulness and that quiet. And when we do this, we're really centering in. We're allowing our energy to focus instead of being scattered all over the place. And if we're going to create abundance, if we're going to tap into that energy, which can lead to successes for us and can bring some material results, not just that feeling within us, then we have to be able to focus our energy a little bit. When it's too scattered, it's very hard to manifest things in there. Now, also, abundance deals a lot with connecting with our infinite self or our infinite energy or infinite energy in general. And when we talk about infinite energy, this is really the ability to not have to chase after status, to not have to chase after money and materialism and things like that. These are the things that hold real value. They don't just go away at the end of your life necessarily because they're based in experiences. They're based in divine connection. They're based in being able to connect with other organic matter, which while we have a physical form that we're in, at the same time, this is the spirit that's flowing through that form. And that is where we get the memories. That is where we get the feelings. And those things we carry with us always. So the infinite pieces really don't have a beginning or end. They're just a choice to come into a little more simplicity, a little more shifting of priorities of what holds true value and what can give us our experiences in life and what allows us to get out and actually enjoy and experience life itself instead of just working all the time. And yes, we definitely have to meet our needs. We definitely have to do that. But at the same time, we're not here to just work all the time. That's kind of a slave system when you look at it. And, yes, we need to be responsible, but sometimes we need to balance it out. And so really when we start looking at abundance, what we're doing is we're focusing in on what holds true importance, what holds divine connection, what holds um, spirit within it and what creates spirit to be active in our life. Also, we find that this is going to be a month coming up in particular where there is peace comes through abundance. So they kind of feed off of each other. Um, when we go into peace, we create abundance. When we're in abundance, we create more peace. So they're a beautiful cycle to be in. And I think this is one of the things that, again, abundance is not tied to material assets. So we can be extremely abundant and have very few assets in life. Really, again, this is about being able to share, being able to help ourselves, help other people meet the needs that they have. This isn't about feeding all kinds of excesses, but it is about helping those that are in need, that are struggling, who are trying to help themselves. But this peace will come through. When we're standing in the abundance and we're not residing in this fear, and we're not residing in the deprivation, we realize there's a certain amount of safety and security that emerges. And that's where a lot of the peacefulness comes from because we realize we do have enough. It's that acknowledgement, I've got enough. I may not have everything I want, but I have enough and I'm taken care of and my needs are provided for. And I can build on that. And if I realize that, that brings an ease, that brings a comfort into my life. And from there, I can build the successes. From there, I have the strength and the energy to do things. Now, when we talk about abundance, what we're really doing is allowing God to flow through us and into um, our head, into our heart, into our lives completely, and allowing that to be active as a force in every piece of our life. The more that we bring the God, divine source, into our life, and allow it to be active, the more abundance we're going to have. So you see how this has a very beautiful, positive cycling aspect to it. When we're in abundance, what we do is we put needs before desires. And this is important things. And when we do this and we put the needs before the desires, we actually will increase our abundance, which means we have more to share and more to work with and more of our own foundations that are full of prosperity and will bless our lives. And as I always say, if I can give a little something, if I can do a little something, it's going to bless me and it's going to bless the receiver. And when I need something, it's going to come around. So I don't really worry about, some of those money pieces as much as a lot of people do. And I think it's because I've seen this abundance in motion so much that when I'm inviting that God, divine spirit into my life constantly, when I need something that's taken care of. So as long as I'm not being greedy and excessive and trying to live some kind of luxurious lifestyle, or freeload off of people, then my needs get taken care of. And a lot of that has to do with just giving what I could give along the way. Doesn't have to be huge, giant things, it can be your time, it can be just listening to somebody, it can be a whole variety of things. So when we come into this abundance space, what we're doing is we let go of that sense of deprivation. There really is no sense of deprivation when we're fully in abundance. And this can take practice to get there. It can take practice to realize, yeah, I am going to get through it and I'll be okay, and that I'm not truly deprived. I think so many times in our society, we think if we don't have all the latest gadgets, if we haven't taken expensive, fancy ski trips or vacations or things like that, that we're deprived. And we really aren't, because again, our happiness and our abundance isn't attached to those things. It exists no matter what we have. It's something that comes from within here. It comes from being filled with spirit, is what it comes from. So abundance is not an acquisition, but what we nourish, what we develop within ourselves by allowing that God, divine source, to come through into every aspect of life and self. And it also comes from seeing things through from start to finish. So I see a lot of times where people, they want to give up on something because it gets challenging or because it doesn't look like it's going in the direction that they want it to go to. And then they end up missing out on those divine blessings along the way, um, that come only with taking the journey, that come only from doing the work and only from taking the steps that need to be taken. And yeah, sometimes that's not going to be fun and it's going to be like work. It's going to take effort. It's not an easy thing to go through the transformation. I mean, there are parts of it that are easy. But again, to experience those real blessings, we have to be able to let go of some of our own desires, and we have to have that follow through. So the real successes come in the completion. It's not, it's not about a destination. It's not about obtaining a certain thing. It's not just about the journey. The journey is part of it, but it comes through seeing something all the way through. And the journey that we experience in doing that unfolds incredible things in our life, that unfolds some of the greatest successes that we will experience. So again, when we stop attaching things to material results, status, financial components, that's when we can really unfold the abundance. And I see it even in the spiritual community, where so many people are attaching their abundance to a material windfall. And we actually will block our material windfall when we're doing that, because we'll actually block our abundance because we're focusing on the money, we're focusing on those material resources and not the energy of abundance. And that's a very different thing. Now, abundance can create the money, but the money is not going to create the abundance. And the abundance will always be more valuable in our life. As we look at that, we also find that when we're doing humanitarian acts, so when we look at humanitarian acts, this can be anything that helps to benefit those who are struggling, who are suffering, who have challenges. They may be trying to help themselves, or unable to help themselves in some cases. And but they're just falling short. And that happens to some people in life. Not everybody has the money piece in their codes and their energy patterns for whatever reason, or what they have certain years. They might have it working at certain points in their life, but not at other points in their life. And so these humanitarian acts really also connect us with God, divine source. And we can do these in things. We find it when we rescue an animal, when we help a wounded animal, when we, there's people that just go out and feed some of the stray communities to keep, to keep them from suffering and to keep them out of hardship. I'm seeing more things happen where they're trying to build things for like the feral cats. Maybe the shelters don't have enough room for them. And so they're using different things to help build them some winter comfort to stay safe and warm in. So there's all kinds of things that we can be a part of. It also can come from like picking up trash in areas. I know that sounds gross to some people, but if you maybe keep some little, gloves with you, plastic gloves that you can use for doing that, and a little trash bag if you're going out on a walk or something, then you could just pick things up and get rid of it. Those things all help our environment. When we look at the community gardens, when we look at different things, sometimes, like for me, it would be hard for me to eat up everything in a garden. But if I did a garden setup and I had that setup, I could certainly share with other people in my community, which would be a great thing to do. And just helping people in struggle. And again, remember that sometimes that's a financial piece, but sometimes that's just including them in something. That's just like, hey, it's okay if you don't have resources, if you can't contribute, maybe you don't even have time, a lot of time, but come and participate. And when you do, you can help set up, or you can help clean up, or you can add to the conversation, or you can maybe play some music, or whatever your other talents are. You can offer that up. And these things all make a difference. They're all just a way to give a little something. And I think sometimes we think that people who are in hardship need to have everything done for them, and they don't. Actually, it's a little bit different than that. They need to be able to give something. And when they give, it brings up a fulfillment and it activates the abundance within them, which then allows them to start to get things in motion where they can get back on their feet. It gives them that self-worth, and that is so critical and so important. So as we close out this year, we transition in and you start the new year off. I really hope that you'll take the time to focus on these abundance pieces and how to create them, how to activate them for others through your own choices, your own actions, and how to get it activated in your life. And I'll tell you, it changes, it opens that heart up, it makes spirit active in your life in such a beautiful way, and it will bring peace and ease and comfort into you. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you next month.